All right, last bit of cleanup for World 2, thankfully,
Yep.
and then we can move on to the Last Swirl and only new levels from here on out. So,
Yes.
yay.
So this Shady Oasis, you have to have the headbutt,
To get this one thing.
and then also there's an orb challenge that
Yeah.
requires the headbutt from this little hippo guy.
Grundy.
8 brothers. Whoa.
Does he have a brother named Solomon?
Was he born on a Monday?
What does the what do they say if you don't have the headbutt then? Do they just say you don't have this thing and you can't?
It actually happened when I first went here. I talked to this guy. I forget what he said. It was something like, "Oh, my 8 brothers have been trapped in rock. I'm afraid you'll need some kind of head bash move to get them out."
Okay, that's
This
How
actually
did they get covered in rock?
the thief people. I don't know.
it seems like a pretty easy challenge though.
It's so easy. I don't think I've ever. I think I lost that like once. But yeah, as long as you go fast enough, it's fine.
I'm
I
too
think their
tired
little
to
wings
carry
are
it
cute.
anymore. Why were you carrying it in the first place, you twit?
Because he knew he needed to wait for a platformer hero to come out and save his brothers, I guess.
Oh, this is an interesting level. It's kind of cool. It's like weird Africa land. Like, you'll see what I mean.
If there's one,
There's like elephant enemies, and like the trees make me think of like savanna trees, like in like this, savanna, not like Savannah, Georgia, but like
yeah,
Savannah.
yeah, African savannah, yeah.
Yeah.
They're like snail
Elephant.
events.
Yeah, Snellefants, that's a perfect name.
If there's one collectathon platformer that I can kind of give the compliment of making its Power Star MacGuffin things make sense, it's Jak and Daxter, because they're the precursor power cells in that game, and their precursor technology itself being valuable, it's sometimes traded as currency. So
It also powers stuff.
it also powers stuff, yeah.
It's never really bothered me in platformers to have just like the shiny collectibles.
Yeah, I know.
you get.
It's just in Jak and Daxter they kind of narratively disguise it as a form of bartering. So
That monkey was making faces at me. I would like to point out.
Go beat him up.
I'm going to.
It looks more like the Cheshire Cat than a monkey to me, but maybe that's just the color scheme.
I think it's a color scheme, but I agree. He's colored like the Cheshire Cat.
Oh god, no,
Also,
wait, we need to stop before we get onto another book tangent.
Oh no.
BSC book club.
Yeah, those like metal rhino dudes make a weird noise when you hit them.
Oh, you like the rah kind of.
Ah! Whatever generic sound effect bank they used in this game is very strange. Oh, these puffer fish. Puffer duckfish. Like, legit, they have faces like ducks, but then they puff up like puffer fish. They just kind of mashed animals together for this level, which I think is part of what I like about it.
that's kind of like
The
Mother
animals are-
3 in a creepy way, actually.
Except that they're not, like, mechanized. So-
Well, not all of the creatures in Mother 3 were exactly mechanized, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
Some of them were just weird chimera abomination things.
Was Mother 3 the Earthbound game with the guy that looks kind of like a square, looking really, really sad and depressed, or was that Earthbound?
I'm not sure.
Because I see that guy pop up on my Twitter feed every once in a while, and he's amusing looking.
It might be. Mother 3 was probably the most creative and weird of the bunch.
Yeah,
That's saying something.
in Earthbound, a lot of the enemies were just kind of like animals, like the dog or
Car!
ants, or an evil
You have to fight a car!
Well, a lot of people will very lazily state that Earthbound and, to some extent, Mother 1 were underrated games, but I'm not sure I totally agree with that assessment.
I would say I would say that in 1994 it was certainly an underrated game, but it's not not nowadays. It's become
Yeah.
it's basically the definition of a cult classic nowadays.
Yeah, it's Mother 3 that still has qualities that can really be appreciated by today's standards, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like Earthbound, when they were giving out Club Nintendo codes for Platinum Rewards, they ran out of Earthbound codes. They ran out of a digital
Crap.
copy of a game. I don't know how that's possible, but only Nintendo could do that.
Well,
That's ridiculous.
there's a finite number of codes that you can have, and they're going to be assigning those codes to products based on how many that they think people are going to want.
Yeah, but given, you make a good point about that they had to assign it, but I don't know, like that they could, because it's like a 16-digit alphanumeric code, so there's got to be.
Yeah,
like,
well,
a lot
they
of
also
codes.
want to keep a certain number of codes open for future products, though. So
Yep,
they're not going
yes.
to use the full range of numbers that they can.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they
But yeah,
always
they
they always give a certain amount of codes to at least for third parties, so that they can give them to like reviewers and stuff at their own discretion. So
Yeah.
a certain
So-
amount of codes are already taken away to begin with, I guess.
Yeah. Like you can sell an infinite number of digital products, but you can only have a finite number of digital redemption codes for those products.
Yeah, but you'd think that Nintendo could make more codes easily, is just the thing.
I'm sure they did. I'm guessing they did.
Eventually.
After codes are redeemed, just reuse them.
Well, yeah, to some extent, but then you get those unscrupulous players who keep hold of their codes and periodically retry them to see if they've been attached to anything. So you gotta wait a long time before you reuse those codes.
And also, considering that the new 3DS is having SNES games now, I'm sure that they have to have different codes for the 3DS eShop as opposed to the Wii U eShop, because...
Well, the way they get around those is not just, using a different number of letters and numbers for different code things, but they also have a different... They'll also have a different... they'll also just have a completely different set of codes for specific shops and specific things within those shops.
Yeah. Anyway, the point stands is that Earthbound is pretty damn popular these days. Like,
Yeah.
its fan base is pretty big. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger than it was back in the day.
yeah.
People discovering things after the fact is it's unfortunately not the kind of it's not the kind of popularity that the video game industry needs in order to sustain itself, but it's pretty damn good when it does happen.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they're not making a whole lot of money off of it now, but, at least Ness doesn't feel completely irrelevant when he pops back up in Smash Brothers. So, that's a plus.
Well, it's good for Nintendo in the sense that re-releasing this stuff is a low-budget thing, so they don't need to sell as many copies to break even. They can make a steady profit off of it. But
Yeah.
And even
I would like
they've
to-
never
I would like-
actually.
I would like
they've
to talk to
never
them about their
actually
virtual...
remade the game.
Yeah, but I was just going to say, we can just release it digitally. I would like to talk to Nintendo about their virtual console release patterns.
Yeah, actually, Catherine, they have remade the game because Mother 1 and 2 were actually ported to the GBA in Japan. So...
I got
So scrubbed.
I got out nerded. But I was thinking, what I was thinking of, Ted, because whenever, ever since I played Dragon Quest V, I always think of Dragon Quest V. Sadly, that
Yeah, it was never-
Earthbound and Mother 3 get so much love, and I'm like, I think if all those people played Dragon Quest V, they might really like it.
Oh, yeah,
These
that's
aren't-
what I think. I think
these
that
aren't
too.
duck pufferfish. These are platypus pufferfish.
Yeah, you're right, actually, because they have platypus tails, yeah. But yeah, so I was thinking of how, Dragon Quest V actually got two full remakes. One for
Yeah.
the PS2 and one for the DS.
Yeah,
and they haven't done anything like that,
Isn't-
recently.
Yeah, I'm sure that the Mother 1 port to GBA probably
God.
got a graphical facelift, but I'm guessing that Earthbound 2 wasn't nearly as expansive
This
when
isn't-
it made it to...
This isn't an Africa level. It's an Australia level.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there's no elephants in Australia.
Yeah, I know, but basically everything but the elephants in this area is based from is like something you'd see in Australia.
But rhinos. There are no rhinos in Australia.
You know-
it's like they took them and mashed them up.
It's a 5-year-old's version of the plains or the savannah. It's just like there are elephants and kangaroos and tigers, and they fight. Yeah.
And pandas.
Yeah.
For some reason. No, the pandas are in the next game. I love that level because the pandas are adorable.
Oh man.
So this is actually, I really love this. The professor gives you an egg, and you have to get him back his pencil. So you have to go around the level, and basically like it's item trading. You have to find someone
I think we
that
did.
wants
We
the
played
egg.
this level, Catherine. I think we played this one. I think.
I don't remember.
I remember getting his pencil at the very least.
Okay.
So I think we
Yeah.
we might have played like some of it, like because we felt like if we need orbs anyway, might as well do it in the new level. I guess I don't know.
And this one's this is a pretty easy orb, and this is a pretty short, easy level. It's very compact for like a late game level, rather.
You still get talismans in these worlds,
No.
right? No.
No more talismans, just an orb for completing the level.
Okay, so that's interesting. It makes sense. Like if you don't need them anymore, it doesn't make sense to have them in the game. It's just, kind of. Eat a rubber ducky.
I don't get what correlation do these objects have with each other?
Nothing.
You got an egg, and then the bird dropped a seed, and then you planted the seed, and the flower gave you a rubber ducky. And there's this duck over here, so let's give her a rubber ducky. She likes it, and so she gave us a radish.
Honestly, this makes more sense than some other item trading RPG quests that I can think of.
This is literally the like the Link's Awakening item trading quest, except it's visualized so that every item produces each individual item. So it's taking the banana became a dog bone statement more literally than usual.
Yeah, and what I like is that it doesn't explicitly tell you what you need to do with the object, but you need to be like, okay, well, there was a duck, so what if I give the duck the rubber ducky, and like there's this pot, so you
Let's make some radish soup.
in the pot. Yeah, and the pot just has a gold coin for some reason. I don't know.
It's a leprechaun pot. See?
Oh, I just missed that guy. He was just running in circles.
You can't shoot fire when you have a thing in your mouth.
Dude, Spyro, don't eat money. You don't know where that's been.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Well, it was in the pot. We know where it's been.
Yeah, but we don't know where that pot's been.
In the level. Oh, and then you put the coin in the fountain.
Coin in the fountain.
Yep. Well, you put it in the specific spot because there are other coins in the fountain. If you look closely.
That gives you a pencil.
Don't know how the pencil got there, but all right, we found it.
And now
Okay,
he's
that
gonna have
last short
lead
pencil.
poisoning from putting that in his mouth.
It's graphite, Ted.
I
It's
Yeah, to say it's
graphite.
graphite.
Well, nowadays it
you
is.
You said
It's been
you had
graphite
to.
for a long time.
You said you had to put the coin in a specific spot. I can see that.
I think
tripping.
so. It might. I'm not sure actually because I always put it in a specific spot ever since I was a
Oh,
kid.
okay.
I don't know how precisely you need to aim. I just hit him in the face.
It's just stupid pencil.
Oh no, we've got a physicist on our hands.
Why
Oh,
is
look
he
at
doing that
you!
with the
I'm
pencil?
I think I'm so much better than everyone else because I'm a chemist, and that makes me
Hey,
better
Okay,
than the
dude.
physicist.
My work is actually practical.
Okay, dude,
so
you are a
happy.
horrible scientist. A real scientist wouldn't be using paper for that. He'd be using a computer. Because that's going to take a lot of paper and a lot of pencil lead. In fact, it's going to take so much pencil lead that I can't help but wonder why you needed this specific pencil back, since it's going to be it's going to be gone by the time you're done.
So where are we going now?
We need to finish clearing out the level, so I need to catch those kangaroo-looking spark plug thieves, and I just got all the gems.
Is there
Okay.
even a mathematical equation theory for calculating the age of the universe?
I think so.
I don't know if there's I don't know if there's like a singular theory, but I mean there definitely are ways of calculating age of various things.
I believe it depends on what your theory of how the universe was created, because there's I believe. Oh God, I'm massively misremembering high school physics, but one of the theories for the creation of the universe is the Big Bang, and so there's a theory that like the universe is expanding due to the force of the bang, and eventually it will stop and start contracting, and then come into a giant and then we'll have another Big Bang eventually. If that makes sense, and then you can use the speed that the universe is expanding to guess when it was, how old it is.
That theory confuses me because what's the gravitational force that's going to reverse the expansion? What's actually going to cause that?
I'm no astrophysicist.
What's going to suck everything back in?
I have no idea.
If physics as I know it works the way it should, then we should just keep floating away.
Yeah, so say goodbye to dreams of interstellar space travel if everything's always getting farther away from each other.
This is the problem with physicists. They don't physicists have a lot of trouble often explaining things in a way that people can understand. And that's how you end up with people like Neil. But for the record, I hate Neil deGrasse Tyson as a public figure.
Oh no! You made fun of Neil deGrasse Tyson. The internet hates you now.
I don't care.
I have no idea who you're talking about.
Neil deGrasse Tyson is a famous physicist, but my issue with him is he's just very elitist, very mean-spirited. He's very condescending, and I feel like there's way too much of that in science, where science is a field that a lot of people, glitching. A lot of people see as there's a huge barrier to entry. I'm not smart enough to be a scientist. It really doesn't have to do with that. But when you have someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson being so condescending, it's not welcoming to people who are interested in science,
I had a friend.
That's why I hate Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I dislike him too, especially since he's not even he tries to think he's funny, but people have actually looked up his tweets and he's repeated the same 5 jokes 20 million times. And when the Cubs were in the World Series, he just kept on taking stuff from the 1908 Twitter page or the 1918 Twitter Wikipedia page. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
And he just kept on tweeting the last time the Cubs won the World Series, such and such happened. You're just looking up the Wikipedia page for that year and tweeting things, dude.
Yeah, that was I saw that compilation. That was really funny. Yeah.
But a friend of mine at her college, he actually came and spoke, and he was very dismissive to a lot of the students there, so I have a similar opinion to you of him.
It's interesting to know someone who saw him in person, because I actually don't know anyone who's seen him in person. It's more as his public persona, but to hear that he's like that as a speaker too, that's rude too, to when people invited you to speak, he was you should be
I think it was a public thing, and he was he was mocking certain majors or something. I need to ask her again what it was like. She told me this a while ago, but yeah.
Well, as the great Albus Dumbledore once said, you can learn stuff from bad teachers too. How not to act.
I'm sure he's plenty intelligent. It's just yeah.
It doesn't do good if you're intelligent, but you're dismissive of other people.
It's that problem of connecting your knowledge and experience with your ego. You kind of have the unfortunate effect of making your own experience and knowledge look bad as a result.
Yeah, but
people will generally respond to overblown ego by trying to be the opposite thing.
Yeah. But I think Catherine's just jealous because chemistry's just not as cool.
Man, chemistry's amazing.
Chemistry's just oh, look, it's atoms. They do things.
Dude, chemistry made zombies. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So there was a
chemistry also makes crystal meth, says Heisenberg.
Yeah. You need chemistry to make meth and drugs and dynamite. Oh, I love chemistry, man. It's so cool.
So things we learned about Catherine today is that she enjoys making drugs and blowing things up. Good job.
I have to write a independent research proposal thing, basically a BS report for part of my PhD. I don't actually have to do any of the chemistry in it. It's just an exercise in writing. And I'm seriously probably going to write it on that substance that they found that makes people act like a zombie-like state, because that's amazing.
So you
They-
basically... Oh, so there's an opening at this company I found. It's called Umbrella. I think you'd enjoy working there.
It sounds really great.
Yeah.
Let's have to ask about the benefits.
Oh, well, you get to work in this really posh mansion, actually.
Oh, yo, that sounds sweet.
It's out in the middle of nowhere, though, so it's going to be kind of a hike. But, you know, it's great. The workplace is very friendly. You really become one with your work, is what they keep on telling me. You know?
I must have dozed off. Golly,
This guy's name is Snoozle.
Snoozle the water wizard.
And don't mention my little nap to Hydrar, okay?
This guy, what's his deal? He just...
He fell asleep.
Okay, so I know it's his mouth model, but to me it looks like he's wearing purple lipstick.
or he's a clam on a body.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's fallen asleep again.
It's kind of like he's wearing purple lipstick on the inside of his mouth. Ew.
Ouch! That sounds painful.
Gongs are
Everyone's
loud,
absurd.
too, if you've ever, like, seen one in person. Like,
Yeah.
they're very, very loud. When I was in marching band at school, they had a gong in the percussion section, and, you know, just because I was a dumb teenager and I really wanted to, I banged it as loud as I could, and it's a lot louder than, like, even you would think it would. And you'd think it would be pretty loud.
Flutus.
Glaring at you at the moment.